Do you like dropping in on a mob of monsters, swiftly shredding everything in sight with your razor sharp icicle, and then, just as quickly, disappearing from their midst like an icy mist? Do you like hunting down that last remaining monster and then relishing your handiwork with grim satisfaction as its head rolls down from its neck? Do you like churning monsters like a freaking meat grinder and then leaving bits and pieces in your wake? If you said yes to any of these questions, then this build is for you. Alright. Hello guys, so this is Nazi and welcome to the video. So today, I'll be showing you an advanced form of the Flurry Road. So it uses the Flurry Road, of which I have a video, links in the video description below, and gives it an icy twist. I'll quickly be showing you the gear, the abilities, and the basics on how to play it. So let's get into it. Before we continue, please consider clicking the like and subscribe button to be notified of new content. So as I've mentioned, this build uses the Flurry Rogue as its base foundational build. So it will pretty much be using the same abilities and gear. So I won't be going into every detail of every ability since it was already mentioned there in a previous video, but I will be explaining as differences arise. So as with the base build, it uses Function Flurry as its main damage engine, uh, switching between the two as the need arises. But this time though, this build is able to use Flurry, its core skill, more frequently because this build is able to utilize less resources and generate more resources at the same time. Uh, you'll see that later when we play the build. Now, we're still using also Shadow Step, but this time we use it mainly for its mobility it gives, and because it enables us to engage specific targets, which we can use either by mopping up a mob, or by chasing a treasure goblin, or by simply putting ourselves in front of a boss, uh, whatever your situation may be. But we do need this. Also, there are many times that we are crowd controlled and thus are put out of the position we wish to be. Shadow Step is perfect for that. Now, we also use Dash for its utility in this advanced build because we'll be using only one imbuement and we have the space, so we want Dash's utility, especially since we are playing on a much higher level. As of this recording, I'm using this build on a level 85 rogue, and thus we are so much squishier relative to everything else than we were on the basic build. Now, we're still using the same ultimate and passive, namely Shadow Clone and Close Quarter Combat. We are using the Close Quarter, the CQC, I'd like to call it CQC passive, because it synergizes with the Cutthroat and Marksman ability, which Puncture and Flurry is. So we want that the synergy it has with those with those types of abilities. Also, we still want Shadow Clone because again, Shadow Clone serves as a force multiplier, and we're still using that artifact which enables our clones to mimic our imbuements. Again, further providing a multiplier to our damage. And as before, we're using Aftermath and Adrenaline Rush. Aftermath is the one that mainly gives us the resource that we have when we use our ultimate. So after we use our ultimate, we'll immediately be able to imbue and give that multiplying effect with our cold imbuement. Not multiplying effect, that cold effect, and thus multiplier damage is what I mean. Of course, adrenaline rush is there uh, because we want to utilize and get something out of our need to move in and out of mobs. So since we're moving, yet might as well get something out of it. Now, you see the ranks that I've put into these, but these can be adjusted depending on the specific items that you have and your situation. But these ranks are the base recommendations that I have. Now, the main difference with this with the base build is its imbuement, as I mentioned, which is cold. This gives it the icy twist. Now we want the cold imbuement because remember this build is a crowd control build. So now every build does wants to, or at least wants to do critical chance, damage, and vulnerable damage. So those are staples. But in addition to that, the main thing of this build is crowd control, which the cold imbuement gives. So it also is reflected in its modifiers. So as you can see, it provides more vulnerable, more opportunities to make our opponents vulnerable. Although also it gives us a chance to proc the lucky hit mechanic. Specifically, I have no recommendations on what to put on the lucky hit proc that we, we can have. So it's up to you, but at least it's there for us to use if you want. Now, along with the main imbuement, I use frigid finesse and precision imbuement, both for increasing the damage of our imbuement and increasing its critical strike chance. Again, uh, provides multipliers uh, for our damage. Also, frigid finesse says that it increases damage to chilled enemies and doubles that increase if we happen to hit a frozen enemy. So again, more crowd control, and if they're crowd control, more damage to them. So that's it for the abilities. Okay, so as I've mentioned, it uses the Flurry Rogue as its base build, so we'll be seeing some of the same legendary aspects and gear that we had in that base build, namely the Mother's Embrace. So this serves as a refund for the resource that we use in casting our core skill, which is the main thing that we use to deal damage in this build. So we can refund up to 40% depending on the role you have. But take note of the two other uniques that we're using. One is Penitent Greaves. As far as I can tell, this is a staple in every rogue build that uses a cold imbuement. It provides a 7% up to 10%, in our case we rolled 7% multiplicative um, force to uh, shield targets, which we do. Also, we use grasp of shadow. Take note, it's a lucky hit mechanic. Remember, we are proccing that because of the modifier for cold imbuement. Now, in this case, the lucky hit proc mechanic that we proc says it damaging a vulnerable enemy with a marksman and control skill has up to 24% chance of summoning a shadow clone. Now let's break that down for a moment. Vulnerable, we'll definitely be doing that. Every build uses an exploit glyph, every advanced build. Also, or every endgame build. Also, the gold imbuement we have and the modifier we chose provides a further opportunity to make a target vulnerable. Now we're using puncture and flurry, which is a marksman uh, and cutthroat ability, respectively. So it satisfies the conditions, these conditions. And take note, if we satisfy those, what will happen? A shadow clone will appear, or a chance for it at least. Remember, we're already enhancing our shadow clone. Later you'll see that, but we're already investing in increasing our shadow clone damage and making another one appear just further gives us a return on our investment. Now for the legendary aspects. These ones are the staple ones, meaning these are the ones that really is needed for this build. The others are there mainly to fill the gap or to meet a need of your particular situation. So let's get to these staples. Again, we have this flurry legendary aspects that makes the your flurry ability shoot out in a 360-degree angle. So that's a staple. We also have this legendary aspects that enables your shadow clones to mimic your imbuement. That's a staple. Now, the third staple is this legendary aspect that restores your primary resource when you hit a crowd controlled enemy. No, sorry, when you crowd control a target. Guess what? This build uses cold imbuement, so it crowd controls. So we will be having this restoration of resource constantly, and you will see that later. So these are the staples. Try to do it quickly. Now, these are the optional ones or the filler ones, at least for me. In the helm, I just put the barrier, a barrier legendary aspect, the one that gives you a barrier when you hit an elite. It serves as a clutch lifesaver to me. Sometimes, when on my way out of a mob, I get grazed. This barrier saves my life in those occasions. So that's why that's there. Now, I also have a legendary aspect that reduces the damage I take from crowd controlled enemies, which is what we're gonna have around us since we're code imbued. We are dealing damage to them with our code imbued ability. So we're gonna have that up to 25% damage reduction, which is huge, huge, especially for a rogue, which is very squishy. Now, the last legendary aspect we have is the one wherein we gain an increase in our armor for 4 seconds when we deal any form of damage. Remember, our main damage dealer in this specific case is our Flurry, which shoots out all around us. So we'll be definitely be doing damage every second, and we can definitely max out this legendary aspect. In our case, we meet this roll maxes out at 45%, so we can have up to 45% additional armor. Again, huge, very huge for a rogue. Now, these are the uniques and legendary aspects that is needed. Now, let's get to the demo of how we use the build. Okay, so I'll show you the basics of how to use this build. So after the base build, our first step is to use our imbue skill, which will enhance our other imbuable skills. In this case, our flurry. So watch carefully. I first use my cold imbue, and then I use my flurry. And if you notice, everything around me becomes vulnerable or dies. Later on, they will all die or explode. That's how the core mechanic works. And as I do this, notice how my resource keeps on refilling. It's like magic. It's, it's like it never runs out. Now, since these are all trash mobs, there's not much of an opportunity to use my ultimate. I'll show you when I use an ultimate. Let's load another video which shows that. So here, as the first two packs will be trash or not so strong, so I can churn through them easily. Take note, I'm on level 8. I'm level 85, so the monsters are also level 85, and I'm at the quarry. Also, notice how I use my shadow step. I use it to position myself either to get into the mob or to engage a specific target. Let's move forward and check out uh, how I engage an elite mob. So this mob has a couple of tough elites. So I'm not able to dispose of them quickly with my first uh, use of my cold imbue. So notice how I will use my ultimate. Because when I use, see there, let's rewind that. When I use my ultimate, it reset my other abilities. So I so not only do we have a clone which multiplies our damage and uses the abilities we do, but we also are able to reset or imbues and use it to further enhance the abilities that we need to kill these monsters. So you can see the cycle that it has. We imbue, we kill the monsters. If we not able to kill them immediately, we use our ultimate, which will refill our resource and reset our skills and enable us to use our imbues again. So it's just a perpetual cycle, as you can see. So I'll let you watch a couple of more cycles so that you see how it works. Uh, Both on you've seen it on Trash Mob, so you'll see how I handle tougher monsters here, or how the build handles them. Now, I hope you guys like this build. I urge you guys to try it. It's very efficient, it's very fun and relaxing to use because you can spam your core skill more consistently because of the resource generation feature this build has. So thank you guys for dropping in and see you on the next video.